Hey, 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 hey. Welcome to my channel. I am so happy that you are here today. Oh, goodness. Okay, so somebody asked me to review a video that Juanita Louise, the psychic from New York, that is down in Tennessee helping with Summer Wells' case right now. She made this live stream on Facebook. I believe it was a little over a week ago, and I had not seen it yet. When I reviewed Juanita's Facebook page, it was not on there. So I'm not for sure where it came from. But I was sent over to Sweetie PieLo channel, and that's where we are right now. This is Sweetie PieLo here. Beautiful lady, so sweet. I'm so happy I found her channel now. I will leave the link to this video in the description box. I'm not starting at the very beginning of this video. Sweetie did talk in the beginning part about Juanita and shared her views and why she shared this video and all of that. So definitely go over and check it out. I'm just playing the part where she clipped part of Juanita's video and shared it. That's the part that I was asked to review. So that's what we're going to watch today. So before we get into it, I want to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring-a-ding my bell. Choose the all option when you do so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video or go live. And share the video out, please. Please, please, please. Word of mouth is so helpful in any case. And hit the thumbs up if you feel it necessary. Or thumbs down. Either way, it works. I appreciate you just for being here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started now. I have not watched this video yet, so I was asked to review it. Review what she said, what Juanita said in the video. So here we are. So we're going to listen to this together. One thing that Sweetie did say right before she started to play Juanita's video, she said she did want to remind everybody of something, and I thought that's so true. Law enforcement has not cleared the family at all in Summer's case. At all. Nobody has been named a suspect, but they said everybody is a person of interest. And they also said that Dawn's criminal history is relevant to Summer's case, that it has not been ruled out. Okay, so I want to keep those things in mind as we review anything with this case. We need to look at everything from all perspectives, of course, and that's what we always try to do. So if you have a different perspective than I do, please share it with me. Do it respectfully so I don't have to block you on my channel. But I'm open to everybody's opinions and everybody's perspectives. And if you don't agree with mine, that's okay. We're adults. We're allowed to see things differently. Tell me what your opinion is, what your theory is, and maybe you'll spark something in me. Maybe I'll spark something in you. So that's how I want to review this video that Juanita did here. I have no idea what she said in this video. I don't even know what it's about. I just know that I was asked to review it. So I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit of everything there. I've had a few comments being thrown at me, and so I just wanted to put that out there. So if it doesn't make sense to you, it's probably not relevant to you. Okay, let's get going. I'm done babbling. Let's get going. I'm done babbling. I'm a babbler. I can't help it. I babble. Here we go.
The person I'm looking for today is Little Miss S. I've been on the case for just over almost 3 weeks. And I received a call. I've received numerous messages to help locate this child. I decided I'd take it on. So I came down here 6 days after her disappearance, and this is where we're going to start. I made it, and when I pulled up to the driveway, the end of the driveway, because I don't go on nobody's property, and nobody else should be going on their property, let alone bothering them. Or
stop right there. I absolutely agree. All of these theories, all of these opinions, all of these perspectives that we have been sharing are being shared to see things from every point of view based off of cases in history. Okay, things that we have learned from the past. Nothing that we share should be used to permit violence or threats or doing illegal things to the Wells family. Please do not take anything that I say in any of my videos and attack Dawn or Candus or Candy or anybody in the Wells family. That's not why I make my videos. I make videos so that we can see things from all different perspectives, and I'm sharing my perspective, my theory, my opinions, and I definitely share facts, but I make sure that I separate the facts from my opinions, my theories, my perspective. I'm pretty clear about that in all of my videos. Do not ever even take a fact and attack the family with it. Please. Because if you do that, that shows so much more about who you are than it does about the person that needs justice. Okay, so we want to do this for Summer. This is all about Summer. This is all about the victim. Summer is the victim. We don't know who her perpetrator is yet, so we should not be looking to seek justice against anybody who has not broken the law. This is all speculation. And I've said it so many times. We, the people of YouTube land, cannot serve legal justice to the criminals. So we have to support law enforcement, trust in law enforcement that they're going to serve justice for the victim. So if the family is guilty of doing something that hurt Summer, then we have to trust law enforcement will serve that justice to them for Summer. If they didn't, then the law enforcement needs to serve the justice to the person who did. But only law enforcement can do that. Only the court system can do that. We can't do that. So right now, we're just little peons over here in YouTube land sharing our opinions. Okay, let's keep it on YouTube, please.
Any of the law enforcement, they have a job. They're doing a pretty damn good job. It takes time, and a lot of time, to do what they do. Well, let me get to what I picked up. As soon as I went over there to Ben Hill, my head hurt me really super bad. I kept picking up the color red, and when I was going down Ben Hill, I was feeling very smothered. Smothered to where, we'll put it like somebody put a plastic bag over my head, and I couldn't breathe.
Oh my.
By the time I made a turn, which I won't say what turn, I made a turn, 3 car lengths down, I'm finally getting this off of me. This energy of my head, like somebody smashed it. Even could have been hit by a car. I kept getting an accident.
Wow.
When I got down this road, that energy went away. And then I started having this very, very bad anxiety attack. And I said, whoever had Miss S had some extreme anxiety. After that went away, I was going into a panic mode. And I drove down a little further and I picked up, oh my gosh, it reminds me of a case I was on, which was the Miss Woods case in North Carolina, where she was thrown away in a garbage bag. They just tossed her.
Oh my gosh.
And I went, oh my gosh, they threw her away like trash. I was very upset, but I was not done. I gave the report to somebody that handed it over to me. I meant to them. Then I came back again 4 days later. I needed to find Warrior Park. Took me a while. I'm like,
yeah, a day or two.
Yeah,
To find the right spot.
To find the right spot, because I was not picking nothing up. I've been looking for the horse they kept showing me in my vision.
Okay, I have to apologize for the volume. It's very hard to hear her, and he's obviously holding the phone, and so we can hear him very loud. I had to put both of my earbuds in so that I could hear what she was saying. So when he just spoke, yeah, I just jumped. I do apologize. So, jump scare warning right now. Let me put it out here, because if he talks again, we're going to jump again. So just beware. Okay, let's keep going.
And that took me to my Uncle Bob that was in a training and was even inducted of the Trainers Hall of Fame, Bob Wheeler. I use him once in a while when he wants to come in. He was coming in a lot, so I was trying to figure out where these horses were. Found Horse Creek, went down to Warrior Park, took this pass, 15 minutes. I kept telling Mike, I'm not feeling it. Nope, can't do it. We went there 3 times. We went to the boat launch and we couldn't figure it out because I was not feeling it. Then we found this picture on TikTok that showed a parking lot. And Mike asked this guy on a boat if he recognized it, and he said yes. And what's it called, Mike?
It's called the Horse Pond.
Horse Pond.
Horse stables, yeah.
And I asked, well, where's this horse pond? And I said, there's my horses. We found it. Well, I walked up there, and I've been there 3 times already. I know they were there. She did not drown. Why did she not drown? Because I was not choking. Did I get a wet lung, dry lung, swimmer lung? No. My head started pounding me when I got back up to Ben Hill. So I am saying nothing happened at that Warrior Park where it cost her life. Also, I went back to Ben Hill again. I wanted to see what else I could pick up.
Okay, so let me stop here. So, listening to everything that she has just said, she felt like she possibly had head trauma when she was at the end of their driveway. She felt like there was an accident of some kind. She felt that the person who is responsible for taking Summer has high anxiety and possibly panic attacks. And then she came back because she wanted to go to the park, to the swimming hole where they were. And she's saying that she has felt like, okay, spirit gives us feelings, like physical feelings and emotional feelings, and we hear spirit speak. So those are the clear senses. We smell things that it's not around us. Like one day I was sitting here on my couch and I got this strong scent of roses for 45 minutes right after my father-in-law had passed away. I didn't have a rose in my house at all. So, and that led to a spirit box session where my father-in-law said his first and last name. And I do have that recorded, by the way. But so everybody gets things from spirit differently. So she's saying she has worked several cases, and she has worked cases where somebody has drowned. She is saying that she is for sure that Summer did not drown at the swimming hole, nor did she have secondary drowning or dry drowning or anything. She didn't pass away because of anything that happened at the swimming hole. But something is relevant about horses. Now, when I did my spirit box session, Summer said horsies. She talked about the animals. She talked about the horses. I believe she might have spoke about a dog. If not, that was in my last reading that I did a reading last night. It was my 7th reading, and I need to post those notes on my community tab from that reading last night. I did the reading and then I went to sleep. It wore me. I mean, like, it drained me. I could not sleep at all. I thought I'm going to be up until 8 o'clock in the morning like I was yesterday. No. As soon as I did that reading and I closed it out, my energy was so drained. I don't even remember falling asleep. I was so drained afterwards. So I will definitely, actually, by the time you see this video, my notes should be on my community tab from my 7th reading. And I know that Summer did talk about her dogs in my reading last night, or early this morning. I did the reading for about an hour and a half. It was almost 4 o'clock in the morning when I stopped, and it was 2:23 a.m. when I started. So it was quite a long session. But so she's saying something is relevant about the horses, and her head was hurting, and she wanted to go back to Ben Hill. Okay, so let's continue here.
All the energy stayed there. I even stated she never left that property. I'm not God. I'm sitting at the Lord's church right now. But I wish I could give you everything, but I'm going to let you know. She did not drown, and there was no kind of accident at that park. I'm still at Ben Hill. I'm not able to get on that property unless I'm asked by family members. I'm still on the case. I'm here for another day.
Which Don Wells has made it blatantly clear that Miss Juanita Louise is not welcome on their property. I believe his exact quote was, "We don't need that crazy ass shit here." If it wasn't that, it was very close to that. I'll have to see if I can find that and share that with you before the end of this video. I thought I had it screenshotted, but I guess I don't. So I will look for it before we end my video here. Okay, so she's saying that Summer never left the property. So is she saying that Summer is still on that property? Okay, we need to keep listening because I don't feel like Summer is on that property. I'm going to share it right here. Okay, I was shown a vision in my 2nd reading, and they were saying, Spirit was telling me that either Summer is at this location or something relevant to Summer's case is at this location. Okay, so I'm going to show you my drawing. I drew my vision so I could share it with you guys, and here it is. Okay, so we have a 2-lane road. There is gravel, a little bit of gravel on either side of the road, and there you could see tire tracks where it looks like a car pulled off to the right side of the road and drove into the grass. Now, the grass was green. It was higher in some spots from what I can remember. But what stood out to me in my vision was the sun setting and how bright the sun was. I could see the sun rays coming between the branches of the tree that's on the left side. Okay, I'm going to see if my cursor will work here and with my S Pen and use my little arrow. Okay, so the sun was shining through these branches of this tree. Now, I wrote down during my reading that this reminded me of a willow tree, like a weeping willow, because the branches were low hanging. I don't believe it's a weeping willow tree, but the branches were low hanging. Then there's this spot right here to the right of the tree. This is where I feel like something is there. There were some trees off to the right over here. I couldn't see how many. I could just see that there were trees over there, so I just drew the 3. The sky was blue, and the sun sets in the west. Okay, so I drew the little arrow down here showing the direction. So this road is going south. So we're driving on the right side of the road, and we're going this direction. So we're driving south, and we pull off to the west. I have no idea where this is. I don't know anything about Tennessee. I've driven through Tennessee, but that's it. I'm not familiar with Tennessee, let alone Hawkins County. So if this looks familiar to anybody that is local to that area or that has reviewed the area in great detail and this looks familiar to you, please let me know. Email me, spiritseekersquad@gmail.com, so that I can go look at this also. If you have a spot, you can send it to me, like Google Map link or whatever. Send me a screenshot of a place that you think looks like this. And this track right here too, I want to point this out also. This track where they drove into the yard, I don't know if this was a driveway, like not really a driveway, but like, you know, when you drive over grass so much that it kind of kills the grass where your tires go. There's still grass in the center, but there's not very much grass where your actual tires would go after repeatedly driving over that same spot. Okay, I don't know if it was that or if I just saw the tire tracks showing me where the car or where the vehicle had driven. So I've tried to get Spirit to show me this spot again so that I can look at it in more detail. This is what I just drew from getting a quick snapshot vision during my second reading. And that was back on June 22nd. Okay, so, and I just drew this on July 24th. So hopefully this will be helpful in some way, shape, or form. I don't know that it is, but hopefully it will be. If it sparks anything with anybody, please let me know. If there's a location, I can attach the location to my drawing and send it to TBI. But I need the location first. Okay, let's go ahead and get back here to Miss Juanita. I just wanted to share that because it's so important, in my opinion. I hope it's important by finding the actual location. Okay, let's continue here.
Yes, I spoke to others higher up. I won't say who. I gave it all. I gave them everything I had. One of the response was, well, nothing fits. Well, and then I said, well, let's put this out. Let's take the park out. Let's take this out. Let's stay at the house. More or less, they agreed. So where do we go with this now? I gotta pinpoint exactly where this trash went, because I felt like they threw her away like trash. I also kept seeing an accident. Was it? Like I says, I'm not God, but I truly believe this was an accident that turned wrong. Why? Well, what? CPS was on her. CPS was supposed to have been there that day. She was dodging. A lot of things could happen. But those planners, no way she can be in those planners. No way. If anybody has a question, I can answer it right now.
Okay, so wait, before we go any further into the questions, because I see we still have quite a bit of time here of her video. Okay, so she said that she feels like Summer was thrown away like trash, and she feels like it was an accident that went wrong. When I watched the channel Unmasked last night, and they did an interview with Mary, which is Dawn's stepsister. I guess Mary's mother married Dawn's father, and Mary and Dawn have been around each other since they were 4 years old. I believe she said that they're only like 2 months apart. Mary was talking about her different ideas, her different theories on what might have happened. She said that one of her sisters had told her that CPS had threatened that they were coming to the house on June 15th to remove all 4 children. But what threw me about that, when she said that, it didn't make sense to me because Summer wasn't reported missing until 6:30 p.m. If CPS was coming to remove the children on June 15th, they would have been there before 4 p.m. Usually, CPS workers work during their regular office hours unless it's some type of emergency situation or special situation. So they would have already been to the house to remove the children. Now, I do know that there are several rumors out there that CPS was called multiple times about Candus and Dawn and the 4 children. And Mary had also stated that CPS is no stranger to Dawn, that CPS was also involved in his first marriage with his first wife and their 2 children. So, and I also know, and this is all rumor, none of this is factual information, but I also remember Allie saying something about CPS had been called to the house, and when they would come, Candus wouldn't answer the door. So they would leave a card, and then that would give her time to clean up the house or whatever, and then schedule an appointment for them to come back, but she kept dodging them. Okay, well, I know CPS only let you dodge them so much before they would take further action. So I'm trying to think logically when I hear the rumors or the hearsay. So I just wanted to put that out there because I just listened to Mary's interview last night, and it was done a few days ago, but I finally was able to hear it last night. I also watched last night the interview that the Interview Room put on their channel. Chris spoke to Candus, and he also spoke to Allie and Leslie. I watched both of those interviews, but I still, to date, have not watched the interview with Hunter. Spirit is telling me not to watch it. I don't know why, but I'm being told not to watch it, so I have not seen that interview yet. I have heard a little bit here and there about people saying what Hunter has said. People have told me in the comments on my videos, Hunter said this or Hunter said that, but I have not watched the actual interview myself yet. So that's where I am with my knowledge of the rumor and hearsay situations, okay? But I wanted to bring that up. So she's saying that she feels like that this is an accident and that they threw her out like trash and that Summer didn't leave the property. Right? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm following here. I'm trying to absorb all of this, so now we're going to keep going.
But I'm literally on the case, and I'm on it till at least midnight tonight before I go back to my hotel and recharge and start back and see where it's going to take me. Usually when I start going in circles, which I am, and I feel very strong about it, but I have to wait to get there tomorrow. I just found out that the gates are open then. But I'm not at liberty to tell you what was said. But let me tell you, I know I'm on it.
Okay, I don't know why the sound is cutting out like that. It wasn't doing that before my last pause, or my second to last pause, actually. So I'm going to pause my recording and go refresh this and see if that'll make it stop. I don't know if it's Sweetie PieLo's video or if it's on my end. So I'm going to see if I can correct it. Hang on. I'll be back in a flash. Okay, I'm back. So it seems that it's in the video, and it does seem like it stops here shortly. When I got to around 16 minutes, I just skipped forward to around 16 minutes, and I let it play for 10 seconds, and it didn't skip out there. So we're at 12 minutes and 40 seconds right now, so we'll see if it clears up.
I know she did not walk off that property. Not whatsoever. I tried.
This is recorded on Facebook also. So, and I know that there's not very good reception or service in Rogersville or in Kingsport, so that may be why it's kind of glitching out a little bit. We're going to suffer through it.
I tried. I could not leave the end of the driveway. I actually thought maybe we should hit by a car at the end of the driveway. That's how bad my head hurt me on my left side of my head. It hurt me that bad. And the smothering, unbelievable. I did not breathe. I was trying to catch my breath. But the area that I said I turned on was, I seen some eyebrows rise. But like I said, I'll be back on. I'm going to find that spot.
Okay, so wait. She's saying possibly Summer was hit by a car at the end of the driveway. And she said that she felt smothered. Remember when Candus said in her interview that it just smothers her, or it just smothered her? She used that same word. Sorry, my bells just started ringing when I heard that. What do you think about that?
And I'm going to all my all to have them look at.
Everyone's wanting to know, what do you think about the picture with milk, and can you sleep on milk? I mean, you've talked about this 1,000 times. And
I have photos of my grandchildren, which I showed you all tonight. How they were playing and walking all day in the car that crashed. The milk bothers me. Well, I'm going to tell you why. I found this store. Apparently that's where Miss C bought her milk. That stuff was ice cold, at least 32 degrees. Ice cold. Colder than New York's milk. I was impressed. But I did buy that milk. As I'm walking up to the register, I put it up to my face. I had to take it off my face. It was that cold. And when I cashed out, I decided to see if I could chug that milk. I couldn't even chug it. It felt like it's been in the freezer for a good 2 hours. That's how ice cold that milk is over there. But I had to go to my doctor's appointment. It was very interesting.
Okay, so hold on just a minute. I want to give you my opinion about this milk situation because everybody is so focused on Summer was on the milk, it was ice cold, and it was to keep her body preserved because she might have been deceased. Okay, I did my video where I compared the picture of Summer laying on the milk to the video of Summer laying on the milk. And in the picture, you could tell that Summer's lips did have a little bit of blue tint to them. In the video, it looked like her lips were bright red. So it seems that there is a filter that was being used. And I pointed out a few other things that made me think that there was a filter being used on either the picture or the video. And I pointed out a lot of other stuff too. I pointed out the mark on Candus's right arm that I thought was a bite mark. I do want to clarify that it was not a bite mark. It is a tattoo of a Playboy bunny. The distortion in that video made it look like it was a bite mark. It made it look like it was a bruise. And I honestly believed that that's what it was. Somebody had said, Candus has a tattoo on her arm right there. And I said, can you send me a picture? Because I need to see it. I can't picture a tattoo that would look like a bite mark. Well, I found during the interview that Chris did with Candus that I could see her tattoos very clearly. I'm going to share a few of the screenshots that I took during that interview so that I can show you. Now, this is Candus here standing beside her car talking to Chris with her right arm pointing at the car. I zoomed in on her right arm, and you can see her tattoo right there. Then there was this picture standing by the car, and I zoomed in on her right arm, and there it is again. Now, how this ended up being so distorted to look like a bite mark, I am not for sure. But I'm assuming that the dark part at the bottom of the bunny, so it's upside down, the bunny ears are going towards her elbow. Around the bottom of the bunny, there is a darker spot there. That looks like to be the darker spot where we thought it was the teeth. Then we have this one, and I zoomed in, and you can see it more clearly there. I don't know what's across it. It almost looks like maybe, I know that she said she was doing some work with Dawn, so maybe it's some of the drywall putty or paint or something. But these are just a few pictures. I tried to zoom in on it there, and it looks very distorted. Distorted here. And distorted there. And then we have this one, and it's also distorted. So it's just the quality of the picture, I guess, is what made it look like a bite mark. So I do want to clarify. If I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. So I do want to apologize. I may even clip this part out of my video and upload it to a separate video so that the clarification is out there. This is not a bite mark on her arm. It is a Playboy bunny tattoo. And I believe this is the best picture of it right here. So you can see it is not a bite mark. And you can go watch this video yourself if you would like. It's on the Interview Room channel. This guy is Chris McDonough. And he is a retired detective. And he is currently in Tennessee talking to Candus, Hunter, Allie, anybody else that will speak with him. So I'm very thankful that Chris did this interview, that we were able to see Candus's arm right there, and that we were able to see that this is a Playboy bunny tattoo and it is not a bite mark. Okay. Now, back to the milk. Okay, so everybody's making a huge deal about this milk. My view of this milk is, Juanita Louise just said she bought the milk. It was ice cold in the store. When she was walking up to the register, she put the milk against her face. But the difference is, Candus purchased the milk inside the store. We have no idea when she put the milk in her cart, how long she was in the store with the milk outside of the refrigerator. Then she had to go through checkout. Then she had to go outside where it was a high of 78 degrees that day. If we resort back to the interview that Candus did with the Rogersville Review, she said it was burning hot that day. And that's why they went swimming, because it was so hot to sit in the truck to wait on the prescription. Okay, it was a high of 78 and the humidity was like 80-something%. So if you take a gallon of milk straight out of your fridge, set it outside on a day when it is 78 degrees with an 80% or higher humidity, I guarantee within 15 minutes that milk is not going to be cold. So they purchase the milk, they leave the store with it, they put it in the truck, they drive from the store to Allie and Hunter's house, which is right around the corner from what Chris had said. And then the video and picture was taken on their way home at 3:09 p.m. Allie said Hunter was dropped off around 2:30 p.m. But then she said that it was about 15 minutes from the store to her house, and then about 30 to 45 minutes from her house to Candus's house. Okay, so that milk in that heat is not going to still be ice cold when Summer was laying on it, in my opinion. So I hope that that makes a little bit more sense. If the milk was frozen, then I could see a little bit more with the theory of it was being used to keep Summer cold. But the milk was bought at the store, so it wasn't frozen milk. Even if it was 32 degrees, ice cold, straight out of the cooler inside the grocery store, as soon as it goes outside, that temperature is going to change. As soon as it was put inside that hot truck that Candus stated during her interview with Chris, she doesn't use the AC in the truck. There was no AC on. The windows were down in the truck. So the temperature drops even more in the milk. I'm wondering by the time they got the milk home, if it was even still cold at all. And people had said, you can't see sweat. There's no sweat on that milk. On the gallons of milk, there's no sweat. Well, the picture was not clear enough for us to see if there were little water droplets or a water film on the gallons of milk. It was too distorted to be able to tell that, in my opinion. So that's my theory on the milk. I don't want to go against Juanita Louise here, but I have to disagree with her theory of having a bad feeling about the milk because when she bought it, it was ice cold in the store. Just my opinion. What do you guys think about it? How do you see it? Do you see what I'm saying? Or are you totally against that? No, it had to have been still ice cold in the truck, even though it was 78 degrees outside with 80-something% humidity. Now, I live in Indiana, so I understand this 80-something% humidity. I get it. On days when it's 70-something degrees and the humidity is that high, as soon as you open your front door and step outside, it takes your breath away because the heat is so thick in the air that you just can't breathe. So that's what I'm picturing. And if I took a gallon of milk and set it outside when it was that temperature, I may try that. If it's in its 70s sometime this week, I may do a test and see if I can set my gallon of milk outside and see how fast the temperature drops. Because I'm very curious about it. I would see it dropping very quickly. But I'm also very curious to hear what you guys think. Okay, there I go again, babbling. Stop it, Mandy. Okay, here we go.
And the doctor knows me very well. He knows what I can do. And I told him in this case of a little girl missing out of Tennessee, Miss S. I said, would you look at this picture and just let me know what you pick up off it, doctor? He looked at it. He looked at her hand, which would be the right hand. And he goes, she's dead. And I said,
Okay, wait. My mom is a nurse, and my mom said the exact same thing. I showed my mom the picture because I was so frustrated when everybody was saying that Summer was deceased in that picture. My mom and I were at the lake together, and I said, Mom, I want you to look at this and tell me your opinion. And I pulled this picture up right here, the original picture that was shared on the Unmasked interview. I pulled this picture up and I showed my mom, and I said, everybody keeps saying that this little girl is deceased in this picture. Tell me that they're crazy. And she said, well, I can't. She said, look at her hand. This hand right here is throwing me off. And she was talking about her right hand right here. And then she zoomed in. And when she zoomed in, she said, look at how blue her lips look. She said, look at the discoloration up around her temple area. She said, I can't tell you that this little girl isn't deceased. She said, by looking at her hand there, I think that something is wrong. So what is it about this hand? My mom said it's not a natural position. For a sleeping child, it's not a natural position. What do you guys think about it? I know I already did a whole video about this picture compared to the 7-second video, and if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. But that's where I pointed out the Candus's arm, and I thought it was a bite mark, and it's really a Playboy bunny tattoo. But I also shared a whole lot more in that video, including the candy that's over here on the seat, and a lot about Summer in that picture. But it's the hand. I'm telling you, it's the hand. I cannot believe she just said that. Her doctor said that. Oh my gosh. I had chills as soon as she spoke those words. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Thank you. But I know experts are saying no. But who am I? I explained to the doctor how her arm was. And that's when I realized I may have found my red. Why? Is because if they set her up that way, her arm was maybe even like this. Say she was laid down in the car. I don't know if she was put in the car laid down. Maybe switched the vehicle and got the truck and prepped her up and took the young male home, and that's how I feel about the milk.
Somebody asked a question about, do you think she was backed over with a car?
See, I have to disagree with that, being propped on the milk for preservation reasons. I have to disagree with that. Respectfully, of course, but I have to disagree with that.
When I was at the end of the driveway, I did make a comment today at the meeting. I says I was near the mailbox. My head hurt me that bad. I meant that bad. The comment was, well, you see blood. Not all the time you don't see blood. I had a friend that was hit by a car, and his head was hit. There was no blood. So I decided to look it up about head injuries and what could happen. Respiratory failure. It made sense to me. So I stated could have been an accident and she was bumped in the head with a vehicle. Everything I felt was at the end of her driveway, not at Warrior Park.
And that's also where the scent, they say the scent stopped too, right?
Yes. It was the first time I was there, the command post was at the church. And I talked to them, explained to them what I was doing, and I want to be on the property, I don't disturb. They want to interfere. I never interfere with law enforcement unless I have something, and I hand it over, and if it sparks with them, well, that's when I stay on it.
Someone else says, do you think she's on the property? And I don't know if you can answer that or not, I don't know.
I'm not at liberty to say that right now, only because all I can say right now is the end of the driveway. And, we were getting back to that, about when you stated about the law enforcement said that that's where the scent last. Well, one, we'll backtrack a minute because I got that call when I was in California and I left it alone. Messages, texting, even on, the TV on your Facebook stuff. My name kept popping up. That's why I decided to take the case on. But when I first seen her photo, a sweet little child, the water was running like this by me, and I'm like, well, she didn't drown, she didn't choke, because I'm not choking. I've been on a lot of cases with law enforcement, and I got choking. I said, well, this was an accidental death. They said, no, we think he's running from the law because he has court. And I says, no. Well, they found him. right where I sit up that hill, in the water. He accidentally went in it at nighttime. He thought he could cut through. So I'm not getting choked on water. So I was not going to touch that case at all because I assumed that she was already passed and law enforcement would already have their answers, but they didn't. And when I handed my first report in, the 6th day when I was there of her missing, I was informed that that's where the dogs lost scent. So I know I'm on the right track. And especially when this report was handed over to somebody, it was very interesting to them too, what I said. But everybody calling in, there was 40 psychics that got called in, I was told, you know, sending them on a goose chase. They ended up in Mexico, they ended up in Puerto Rico, nothing. All they want is the facts, the truth. Not what you think, not what you hear. They have a lot on their plate right now, and that plate is this little girl that's missing. Give them some breathing room. They need to get this job done.
We'll take one more question. I don't know if you can answer this one or not. Some people call out.
Okay, I want to pause it there because I have a few questions about some of the things that she just said. Okay, first of all, she said that she wasn't getting choked on water, but she felt the water running across her mouth. So what does that mean? Why does she feel water going across her mouth, but she's not getting choked on water? I'm very curious about that. Has she elaborated on that anybody has seen? If she has, can you please let me know? And she's very focused on the end of the driveway. The dog's losing the scent at the end of the driveway. Her feeling at the end of the driveway. And then she said something about a head injury can cause respiratory issues. Okay, one thing that stood out to me almost from day one when I saw the picture of Summer in the back seat on the milk, when I saw the darkness around her temples, because that did stand out to me the first time I saw it, I immediately thought of head trauma. When my son was 2 years old, he was throwing a temper tantrum in his bed, and he hit his forehead, on his headboard. And it hit me so hard that I went back to my Facebook page and went through my thousands of pictures that I have on there and found the picture of my son's headboard. And his headboard right here in the center part of the bed, he was sitting up, and then he was flipping his head down on the pillow. He was mad because he wanted his blankie. It was bedtime and he didn't have his blankie because he left it with Papa and Grandma, and Papa was bringing it over, but in the meantime he was throwing a tantrum. He was so exhausted that night. So he kept sitting up on his knees and flinging his head down onto the pillow. Well, one time he flung it down and busted his forehead right here on his headboard. So when that happened, in the emergency room, that's when we were waiting to be seen. His head immediately started swelling outward. He ended up getting liquid stitches, and he had quite the bump on his noggin there, but it was a goose egg. It swelled outward, and they told me that's what you want to happen. You want it to swell outward. If it does not swell outward, then that means that it is swelling inside of his skull, and that can cause intracranial hemorrhaging, which can cause death. They said that your brain is actually the dumbest organ that you have because it's surrounded by your skull. It doesn't have room to expand when there's trauma to it. So I immediately started thinking about that when I saw the darkness on Summer's head. But then I also thought, there's no marks on the outside of her head. So if she did bump her head, there would be some type of mark on the outside, whether it was a small bruise or there would be a point of contact. If she hit her head on a rock when she slipped, like Hunter had said, okay, so the alley said, Hunter said, if she slipped on a rock and hit her head, she would have some kind of point of contact where her actual head met the rock, even if it was just some type of small bruise. If it didn't swell outward, then the inward swelling is what can cause the damage. So if you have a head trauma of any kind, you want a goose egg. You want the swelling to go outward. And like I said, that's something that I learned when my son was 2. And I'm thankful that I learned that. You know, when we were talking about how big his goose egg was on his forehead, then the nurses and the doctors were saying that's what you want to happen. That's a good sign. And then that's when they told me about the brain, you know, being surrounded by the skull and not having the room to swell and all of that. So I don't think that there was any head trauma before that picture was taken. in my opinion.
Family members individually, so I'll ask this question. Family members involved, in your opinion, can you answer?
They piqued my interest. How's that?
Mine too. And I think that we would be completely blinded and ignorant if we did not consider the parents as suspects or persons of interest. Looking at it from a citizen's point of view, I'm not law enforcement, I'm not a detective, I'm just your everyday citizen. Looking at it from my point of view, I'm going to suspect every single person that came in contact with Summer. And you start in and work your way out. I know law enforcement does that too. How many times have we heard Duty Ron say that? Or Chris say that? And that's what law enforcement does. Or Mike from Profiling Evil. I mean, all of these retired law enforcement people say this. Okay, so you start in and work your way out. Who is the closest? The parents and the brothers and the grandma. You start there. Rule them out as you're working your way out. But I haven't ruled them out yet. I can't. And obviously, Miss Juanita Louise can't either. Okay, let's get through this.
And also there's another side on here that's said that the TBI said they're not talking to you, which we know that, right?
Next.
There you go. But you have talked to someone.
I have talked to her.
Okay.
Oh, this is irritating me. I don't know why it's jumping. Let me try to clear it out again. Okay, I closed it out and opened it back up again, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll stop skipping like that. I guess the benefit is every time I close it out and open it back up, Sweetie PieLo, I'm watching her ads at the beginning of the video. Every time, so hopefully that's helping her AdSense a little bit. Okay, let's keep going.
All right.
Man's goal, but it could be in a different law agency that I spoke to.
Some people are saying their screens are freezing. We can, we'll save it and put this back out there after this is over. And they're wanting to know where Don went. I mean, I don't.
Don's still around. She didn't kill him. He didn't run. He's still home. That's all I can say about that too.
And we found out that was true. That he was still at home. He didn't leave the state or anything.
And some people ask about the other juvenile. I don't think you can go there.
Nope, I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Is Don involved? We'll take one more question after this, guys, and then we've got to go. She's got somewhere she's got to go be with.
I'm still working.
What about the red truck?
To me, the red truck of my interest, that was, I want to say, they may have seen something as they were driving by. But please, give the law enforcement some breathing room. If you see them out working, don't tag everybody. Then you got everybody over there, and what they're doing is they're scrambling because they want everybody being there and messing into stuff up. And then when you have people sneaking on the property, how low can you go?
Right?
I don't even do that. I've been asked by the FBI one time in my hometown to go on a property. I says trespassing. You know what their remark was to me? It's only a misdemeanor. Do I look like I need a misdemeanor on my chart?
No, and your record speaks for itself.
I've done so many cases. Argentina, the Israel sister's missing. Spot on. John Pop case out of Vancouver, British Columbia. The law enforcement called me out of Chicago for that one. Spot on. Jamie Claus, sweet little girl. I was the silent psychic behind that. Without a trace. Well, I had it all. Sarah Galloway case. Had it all. I can keep going on.
We have one last question that I think that you might want to answer.
Okay, and that is a pretty good track record right there. And just the few that she named, I know I've heard of Jamie Klaus because of her father and his foundation that he started and all of that. So she was the silent psychic on that case. It's pretty impressive. It makes me want to go back and really dig deeper into that because I know the basics of that case, but I never really looked really deep into it. It makes me want to dig a little bit deeper in it now.
Is Summer still alive? That's a toughie.
I was on Fox News one time, and I was asked that about a gentleman missing. It happened to be the reporter on Fox News' brother missing. And I mentioned to him before I went on their news. And I said to him, I said, sir, I'm not God, but will you answer the question? And it's his own brother. And I said, well, we'll see when we get it on the news. And I said, I'm sorry to say, your brother is dead. And this is where you're going to locate him. I was right. That's how I answer my questions. I did go to the church where they have 2 trees planted for her. Of course, I put the ribbon on, donated some money in the box. And I kneeled and I prayed. I prayed to loosen the tongue that knows. And to come forward. Don't let this guilt weigh you down, because you do know exactly what happened. And those who take it to the grave, there's a special place for you.
Amen.
Oh, and another thing, even if I located her, I don't accept blood money, because that's what it is to me. My money, how I travel, is through my group parties and my private sessions. And anybody can tell you, that's the money I use when I travel across country to help missing person. That could be a child, it could be an adult. I even done a case, well, actually 2 of them, where they didn't want to be found, and I located them. One didn't want nothing to do with their family. The other one, they reconciled, and that was the happiest day of my life.
Aww.
The other one's is when I can find them alive and locate them, which I did for a case. And I'm not going to dog any dogs, search dogs or anything. I've been on a couple of cases with the search dogs. Took her to the canal. I didn't feel it, but I policed that canal for 8 hours at nighttime. My feet hurt me, and I was with a family member. And I said, oh, I got poked in the eye. Oh, my mom's dead, my mom's dead. I said, I didn't say that. I said, but I know your mom's still alive. I waited till dawn, and I went in the forest, and I started yelling her name. And my friend said to me, she ain't gonna hear you. I yelled louder. I heard this little faint voice. I located her alive, laying in the forest with a swollen eye.
Oh, wow.
And that's, the dogs were wrong. And I'm going to give you another example for dogs can be wrong too. I was in Virginia Beach at a funeral of a man that I never met and told him what was going to happen. No one didn't happen. I also told him who he was going to meet in heaven and who he was going to bring to heaven. They were blown away because they got the call the night before that Jack had throat cancer. Okay? Here I'm sitting in the funeral home and I have my phone on silent. And something just felt weird in my purse, so I opened it up, and sure enough, there's the captain's sister calling me. We need help. Where? In Lockport. I said, well, what do you need? Paul Ford's missing. Can you help us? I said, well, he's dead. I can taste a bunch of pills in my mouth. So I keep seeing beer and a cigarette, and I'm not understanding this. So I found out that he was at the store near there, begging, asking for cigarettes and asking for a beer. He had no money. And then I looked at my socks, believe it or not, and my son-in-law that was in the Navy looking at me. He goes, what are you doing? And I said, well, they need help. I'm going to help them. And I seen tie-dye socks. I had tie-dye socks on. I said, it's wintertime. I'm getting cotton candy ice cream. So I contacted them. I did not know they had me on live. And I asked who's the one with the broomstick punching through the ice. And they said, oh my gosh, you can feel that? And I said, yes. They said, his sister. And I said, well, my ear's getting warm. I said, well, my ear's getting warm. I said, she needs to go towards this ice cream shop. And they said, no, the dog's already checked there. So as they were going the opposite way, my ear was getting cold, and I'm trying to explain to them you're in the wrong direction. I was so mad. I even called the captain. I even called the investigator from the sheriff's department. Juanita, what are you talking about? I said, I'm telling you, Paul Ford is there. All you need is that extra 30 length of the dog lead. You will find him. Nobody was listening. So I called the captain's sister's boyfriend and said, hey, do me a favor. Would you go out there and pretend you got this dog leash and add another 30 to it and go behind these woods? He's right there. I keep hearing a hidden pond. Find the hidden pond for me. Well, he was located right there. And the name of the road is called Hidden Pond Road.
Wow.
The dogs, all they had to do was an extra 30 feet. And I had an investigator at my office a couple months ago, because I'm on a big case with Bob Eastep that's missing out of Kentucky, which I'm really on. Oh my gosh, that's just a slamming case there. And I was mentioning, he goes, you look familiar, ma'am. And I says, yeah. He goes, wait a minute, did you call me about a guy missing? And I said, no, sir. He's looking at me, he goes, well, you look familiar. And I said, well, I've been on TV, newspaper. And I go, Paul Ford? He goes, yeah. He goes, I got that call. And I said, why didn't you go look? He goes, because we're already there. I said, all you needed was an extra 30 lead and you would have found him there.
You have one question. If it was an accident, why not report it?
That's where I feel the panic came in. Well, you figure if it's true about CPS, ain't nobody want to go charged for neglect. And they're thinking a different way. If you understand where I'm coming from, that's jail. Not now, right now. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Do you think she'll be found?
Yes.
I'm praying that she'll be located. I'm here for another day. I have 2 spots. One is really interesting me, but I keep going back to the circle again. And that would take me to another case, as I told them today. There was a Eric Slack case out of Waynes County. I didn't know nothing about this guy, but the family asked me to come up. And I drove 2.5 hours. And I got up there and I got out of the car. And all they said that he was jumped out of the car on the 104. I started walking across the bridge and I suddenly stopped. And I said, oh my gosh, it had to been here because I'm tasting a bunch of pills. And they looked at me and said, yes, that's exactly what he got. I said, well, he took 2 lefts. He's right over here in the woods. I said, I walked over in the woods, but it's private property and I'm looking for this like beaver dam. And next you know, here comes these unmarked cars, and they went on a screech. I thought they were going to come screaming at me, and no, it was Detective Tammy. And she goes, you Juanita? And I said, yeah. She goes, well, what do you get? I'm like, over there. And I said, but I don't want to step on the property. And she goes, well, my team's over there right now. I says, over near this, I'm looking for a beaver dam. Well, they're over there. Well, I didn't know there was a beaver dam. I'm just looking for one. And she called me, and she says, well, we looked, any house. I said, nope, that's where I'm stuck. And I kept going in circles. For a month, I kept going back there, and I wanted to step on that property, but I did not. Well, let's make a long story short. I called Tammy one night, and I said, you know, if you don't find them, the hunters will. I was mad. And I left it that way. Well, they ended up, a hunter did find him, and right where I said, I went down there into those woods, and about 40 feet, there was my beaver dam. How did they miss them? Lord knows, because the weeds were down.
I was going to make that last question, but since this involves more kids, I've had about 10 people, 20 people ask, are the other kids, do you feel in danger?
Pardon?
The other children in the house, do you feel like they're okay? I know it's a touchy question, so.
Yeah. They don't want to make the same mistake twice. I feel sorry for those young men. All I can say is pray for them. Pray. Because it's the power of prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. I keep all my medals with me. But like I said, I'm not God, but I do a damn good job of what I do. A lot of people don't believe in psychics. I've had skeptics, and I turned skeptics into believers, and telling me they got to change their religion. And I said, you don't have to change your religion just because you believe. It's just how others work. I'm not the only one that picks up stuff. There's other people in our world that does the same thing.
Okay, I want to stop it here because I've had a lot of comments about how Juanita's not working. She's too busy bragging about herself and asking for money. And I don't know. I don't see it the same way as the people do in the comment section, but there's been some negative comments about Juanita. My view on her, especially after hearing just some of her cases that she's worked on and how she's helped. I mean, this is all coming from her. This hasn't been validated. So we're just taking her word for it. But I see that I've always said this, there's a very, very, very fine, thin line between confidence and concedence. A very fine line. And I feel like she's very confident in what she does. And it may come across as she's being conceited to people who may not believe so much or who may be skeptical about psychics. So that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that she's confident and why is she so confident? Do you think she's conceited? Why do you think she's conceited? What's your view on it? Again, I feel like she's confident, and I feel like she's had a lot of people come at her for what she does. A lot of people don't believe her. A lot of people don't believe in psychics at all. I'm telling you, the word psychic scares the shit out of people. As soon as they see psychic, they think of the gaudy outfit and the gaudy jewelry and the crystal ball and, I see you. That's immediately what people go to. So take that out of it. Take the psychic word out and look at Juanita as she has clear senses. She speaks to source. She speaks to spirit. Spirit speaks to her. Spirit shows her things, tells her things. And she's been able to use that information to help locate missing people, deceased and alive. I mean, the police would not be using her if at least some of what she has said has been validated. Law enforcement would not, I mean, she said that law enforcement has had over 40 different psychics call in with tips. And then she went into the whole spiel about that law enforcement wants facts. They don't care what you think. Okay, but she's there telling them what she thinks. So they must care about what she thinks. And the other 40 psychics led them on goose chases. Okay, so out of 40 psychics, you have one that is legit with what she sees, what she hears, what she feels, what she senses. So there are a lot of people out there that claim to be psychic, and they could be lying. They could be making it up. They could be doing it for money. I mean, there's all different reasons why. That was one of the reasons why I think I kind of held back on putting my information out about me having clairsenses. And again, I will never say I'm a psychic. I do not look at myself as a psychic. I have clairsenses. And that's as far as I want to go with that. You know, I speak to spirit. I do paranormal investigations. I do spirit box sessions. So I couldn't have, and I don't know that I would call myself a medium either. I don't know where I fit because I've never really considered it that far. Maybe one of these days I'll have a title for myself, but right now I'm just Mandy. But let me know what you think about all of this stuff that she's just said, about all these cases that she's helped on. Do you think that she's conceited, or do you think that she's confident in what she discovers, what she shares with law enforcement?
But I'm not black magic. I'm not black magic. I'm white magic. I'm a healer. And I was told that by the Detective Hayes, or Tiles, out of Manchester, Kentucky, because he couldn't believe what I picked up. And the power of prayer works. Because I went to church and I prayed for losing the tongue. I ended up in Florida on a case I'm doing in Kentucky. In the resort, I ended up finding that man. And I had it all recorded. And my CD had to go personally to Tennessee and hand it over to somebody else to Tennessee and hand it over to somebody else to get to the FBI. That was 5 days of recording, but I got them. And that was the power of prayer. Because I wrote it in church and I took pictures to the family. I said, it says loosen the tongue and nose. And I prayed and put it in Mary's basket. And what happened? It took me to Florida. What are the odds for that? I didn't know he was going to be in the same resort as I was going to be. I didn't know I was going to run in at midnight.
Absolutely. I absolutely 1000% believe in power of prayer. Absolutely. I pray every day. I pray multiple times a day. Power of prayer is so powerful. I mean, bottom line of it, that is so true. So very true.
That night. But luckily I had a video going, and it even stated, we don't even know each other. And the best part was, I was supposed to go to Destin, but it was raining. I went to a resort where my niece was in Kissimmee. What'd she say to me on there? Oh, we shouldn't even be here. We were supposed to go to Destin, but it was raining. We ended up here. And I said to him, in the 5th day of talking with him without him knowing I was recording him, everything he said is no way that I picked up or anybody else had. That was the power of prayer, I told him. And I showed him my snapshots of the photos that I took before I even got down to Florida. It was hard to believe. And I was looking for a beautiful white truck, a white pickup truck. And guess what? When I asked about it, to go check what he was driving, a brand new white Ford pickup truck. But the sad part was, he was trying to have me killed. And I was already told that.
Okay, wait. She brought up the difference about black magic and white magic, and she's a healer. And I think that is a common misconception, really. People think of psychic as something bad or related to black magic or related to something negative. The majority of the people that I have come in contact with or that I watch myself that have clairsenses, they are healers. They're empaths. Okay, so they feel when somebody else hurts. And I'm that way too. I've always been that way. My son and I were actually talking last night about when people get into fights, because he said that he saw a video where 2 guys were fighting. And I said, did you watch it? And he said, no. And I said, good, because that's gross, you know? And he said, yeah, it made me sick to my stomach. I immediately knew right then, my son is an empath also. When you can't stand seeing somebody else in pain, despite if it's physical, emotional, or what level of pain it is, you don't want to see somebody else in pain. And if they're in pain, you feel that pain. Sloan Bella, I think, explained, oh my gosh, there's a cardinal outside my window. Oh, it's my grandmother. I know it is. It's a female cardinal. Anyway, sorry, distraction. She explained the difference between empaths and, like, there's so many different names for different things, and I never knew. I never knew the things that I felt had a title for it. And I was able to watch that video and learn about myself and learn that my feelings have titles. I'll have to go back and find those two. There's two videos that Sloan Bella did, and I will share them on my community tab. I wrote down notes from both videos, and I can't find the notes that I'm wanting from the one specific video, but I never knew that there were titles. She explains an empath, and she's like, everybody claims that they're empaths now, but they're not. This is what they are. This is what an empath is. This is what, and she broke it down so well. So I will definitely share that, but we're going to watch the last minute and a half of this video here so we can wrap this up.
Rose Bly, any feelings from that?
I tried tapping into her. It's like I was getting blocks from her. But then I kept getting grandfather. And I decided to put the spirit box on. You were there, Mike.
Yeah, I was there.
And I didn't understand it at first. And I just left it alone. It said, grandfather. It also said, daddy, no. It also said she's guilty. I have all the photoshops. It said will. It said prepared. It said murder.
It said warrior.
And she's...
It was Dawn's Facebook page. My last video that I did of Dawn Wells' Facebook post, there was a post that was shared on his page that I clicked on and I read it. And it was this guy that's with Juanita, and he shared pictures of the spirit box. And it's the ghost app where it puts the words on the screen for you. And I saw where it said she is guilty. It said warrior. I mean, it said summer. There were so many things that when I went through those pictures, it gave me goosebumps. So if you haven't watched the video of Dawn's Facebook page yet, go back and check that out, because there's a lot of information there. Okay, let's finish this out here. Oh, and I tapped into Rose, and I am working on a video from my reading that I did with Rose. I got through to Rose. I connected with Rose. I connected with Rose during my spirit box session, and I connected with Rose on 2 of my readings with Summer, and that's why I decided to do a reading on Rose by herself. So you can see my first reading, my second reading, and my third reading. I already have all of those videos done. My 4th through 7th now. My notes are on my community tab, but I have not made videos about them yet. I'm getting my videos done as fast as I can, I promise. I'm trying my hardest. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm pumping out the videos as quickly as I can. I have so many. Okay, here we go.
Her own name, didn't she?
Yes. She said her full name.
And I think
the full first name.
And that's when we all just about broke down.
I flipped because I was asking my spirit guides to come in. I was asking Rosie to come in, and any of her guides to come in to talk to me. And when we seen what was said, her name, and she's guilty, I didn't know what to say anymore. I was lost for words. But I'm not pointing fingers. Everybody acts different ways when the children pass, or, well, she said past tense, or when they're missing. I'm going to say.
Okay, so that's the end of that there. I didn't see where the spirit box said Rosie's name, but that's very interesting. So that's it. So now I'm going to ask you again, please make sure that you're subscribed, ring the bell, hit the all option, hit the thumbs up, share the video out, and I hope to see you in the comment section where we can continue the conversation. I know that this video has a lot of information. I may break it down and clip parts of the video so I can upload them by themselves. The part about the milk, I think I want to put that out, and the part about the tattoo, I want to put that out. And I know that some people won't sit through an hour-long video to hear all of those things. So if you see those videos pop up on my channel and you've watched this entire video, just know it's just a clip from this video. So you can watch it if you want, but it'll just be the clip from it. So that's it. I'm done. An hour and 20 minutes later. Thank you so much. If you are still here, I want you to leave a comment that says hashtag SS Squad. Hashtag SS Squad. Hashtag SS Squad. That's how I know when you've made it through an entire video. If you leave that in the comment section, you don't even have to leave anything else. Just do hashtag SSSQUAD, Spirit Seeker Squad. That lets me know that you made it all the way to the end of my babble session. Thank you so much. Till next time, I love you bunches.